Live from Paris, Patrick chimes in for 5 minutes.
Patrice will be opening Remap Radio du France.
Remap Radio.
And we will not be hearing from him again. As always, we're a listener and reader supported show and website, and you can do that in France as well. The casual transfer. If you enjoy Remap Radio and wish to become a supporter, you can learn more at remapradio.com/sign-up, or just click the orange button in the upper right corner of the website. Our subscribers let us keep doing the shows, the streams, and the articles that define Remap. So let's get into today's topics. Patrick, you did mention, because it came up a little bit, in our pre-show chat. There's a bit of a bait and switch happening with the Nintendo Switch 2 physical media situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's worth getting into that. And also, Janet, I know you messaged me asking if we'd secured a Switch 2. It sounds like the two of us at least tried to jump through the hoops for the Switch 2 pre-order. Chia, did you also attempt?
I tried.
Okay, all right.
I didn't get a fucking call back or whatever. I didn't get the second
I'm sorry.
email.
Is it an audition system? You have to go read for the Switch.
Those come out
Nintendo
later.
thing hasn't happened
Those
yet.
come out later. Yeah.
Oh,
May 8th
okay.
is when those come out.
So there's a system where Nintendo is trying to avoid folks like buying pre-orders and immediately flipping them on eBay by having a requirement system where it's like you have to have like a current Nintendo Online membership, a certain amount of hours played, and as a result of that, it doesn't guarantee an invite, but you do get put on a list where if you get invited by Nintendo, that you have secured, I think, for a week, the ability to pre-order a system. I think they have since
so
come
luxurious.
They've since come out and said, that invite might come after launch. It's
Fuck.
the amount of interest from Japan alone apparently has like wildly outstripped their. Now, is that expectation setting? There's what game is being played. Who's to say?
Sure.
So it sounds like so. Connor, you didn't try to do the. I'm going to be up at midnight, do the pre-order system through the different retailers, which I assume
I
that's
didn't try that. I just prayed that Nintendo would,
Okay, I like it.
And the prayers weren't answered.
Yeah, my prayers have not been answered yet. No, but apparently it might. So, do you mean the invitation might come after launch, or the system might come after launch?
The invitation.
You'll still pre-order.
It's going to be a wave-based system. Like, it won't all go out at once.
Yeah,
and it's not clear how they're going to stagger that, how they're going to tier that. I think it's May 8th, so it's not far. I think it's like a weekish from now.
I wonder how strict they are with their own it's kind of like a job application, right? It's like, are these the the qualifications, or are these like the nice to haves? Because one of the things is it's not just having like a Nintendo Switch Online plan. It's having had it for at least a year at the time of reading the note that you got today. It's not like you could have signed up.
If Kato signed up for a Nintendo Switch Online membership 2 years ago, I'm confident they forgot to cancel it.
Look, I still use it.
I know you play Pokemon, right?
I play Pokemon Unite every once. It's like it's the easiest thing to keep in my life because those matches are 10 minutes. So every 2 or 3 days I might just hop onto a Pokemon Unite game.
Who could say? Who could say?
Patrick, that'll be Pokemon Unite.
Pokemon Egalite.
I'm gonna have to start taking notes on all this. Like, what do I have to change when I open the office? And So Janet, what was your strategy for? It was Best Buy, Target, Walmart. We're having pre-orders.
The unholy
live.
trinity.
And then GameStop was the next morning. In addition to people standing in line physically at GameStop stores. What was your strategy? How did it turn out?
So I am blessed by being on the West Coast, which means 12 was 9 for me, which means I got to do this during a more humane time than people on the East Coast. And you know what? I don't feel bad about that because we had that 6 a.m. Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. And do you know what it's like to get up for live reacts for a 6 a.m. show? It's not nice. You're up at 5:15 and being like, welcome to Nintendo's future. And I don't like that. I don't like doing that. And then they did it again for Mario Kart. And I said, I'm not waking up for that. I'm going to watch that after the fact. You don't have anything to say, I don't think. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't think I need to see this. Yeah, my plan was to do it online at the time with me and my fiance Isaiah, who at the time of starting this process, said, I'm not getting a Nintendo Switch 2. I'll just use your Nintendo Switch 2 because I don't have any games I want to play at launch because he hates Mario Kart, which I think is one of the worst things about him, the hating Mario Kart. How do you hate Mario Kart? It's like so fun. What do you mean? Anyway, whatever. I get it. Kind of. Actually, I don't get it, but I can accept it.
You can accept it. You can accept it.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, whatever. You know what? There's a whole world out there, buddy boy, that I can drive with. Anyway. So that was how that story started. But we did the online. This is not our first rodeo. He had to fight really hard to get his PS5 in a similar fashion. And a lot of things have been like this. So we first started kind of opening tabs at 7 p.m., 2 hours before, because we're like, what's going to happen here? Is it going to be like a digital queue? Is someone going to open early? And then also I'm like, you know, I'm setting up on Best Buy, and my brother's like, is your card information saved in there? I'm like, I don't know. I'll check. He's like, it's got to be in there. I was like, well, this is why it was 2 hours early.
This is Isaiah's following my like whenever I do these. This is increase. You just want to decrease tension,
Yes.
or any process in between you and the website crashing. So I always download the apps for the websites. I always, because sometimes you like can slip through differently, like, through the website. Or the apps tend to hold up a little bit better than the websites in general. And then have all your payment information secure, saved, so that you can just like hit add cart checkout 50 times until you like break through the system and hope your bank doesn't flag that as fraud and like allow it to, like what most people do. I've never done this, but some people will like call their bank in advance and be like, hi, if you see a bunch of like strange,
have you heard of Nintendo
like,
Switch
rapid
2?
fire transfers at midnight, that is not fraud. That is me desperately trying to secure a Switch 2.
Are you familiar with Mario and his works? I'll be hanging out there at midnight tonight. Yeah, but Best Buy, I could not get my login to work properly. I could not change my card information. And at that point, I said, I fear we are cooked with this Best Buy, I think. And I was also in MinMax has a Discord channel that was like Switch 2 pre-order stuff. So I like went in there and I was like, is this where the party is? Like, what's going on? So we were like talking in there about, you know, anyone sees anything, like updating on information. But we did Best Buy and Walmart. I really didn't want to do Target. I didn't want to do Walmart either, honestly, with their like, you know, both Target and Walmart had very like openly like rolled back their DEI programs, which means I don't want to give them any money. I did go to work on Walmart because I'm like, look, there's only 3 and Best Buy is a hot pile of garbage. So, but I didn't do Target at all, which was like the mundane devil was on my shoulder because everyone on Blue Sky was like,
mundane devil?
yeah, because it's like, is this really the biggest temptation? Like, is this really the, you know, the peak of evil? I would say no, but it's like, it's not evil, right? And everyone's on Blue Sky like, I got my thing at Target and I saved 5% with my whatever. I was like, yeah. Must be nice. Must be nice hanging out with Bullseye and his anti-DEI agenda.
Wow. As you occasionally refresh the Target website hoping that it continues to crash.
Oh my God, that would have been 40 chats. I should have done that. But yeah, so I'm like, okay, let's just, you know, go all in. And we were luckily able to get 2 at Walmart. Like my fiance got through at Walmart. I'm like, you're in charge of Walmart. I'm in charge of Best Buy. And our secondary stores are the opposite, right? Like, oh, if you got time, tab over, whatever. Best Buy, I felt like I had, you know, those wind up toys where you like wind them up and they like hop forward that you can get like I felt like I was in a race where my toy just didn't work. Mine just spun in a circle having Best Buy. I felt like such a clown working on Best Buy all night. They never came through for me. I'm like, ever since you dropped your gamers program, it's been downhill at this company. I can't stand you. Anyway, but we got Walmart Mario Kart bundle, but also non-Mario Kart bundle. And then funnily enough, Walmart was doing so well that I'm like, that was just through my fiance. I'm like, oh, maybe I can get my own like prop, because we're also like hearing a lot of people, oh, they got canceled, or they emailed me and said it's delayed. So I'm like, okay, well, like, let me try to get my own. I got through. And they're like, sorry, it's 1 per customer. And I said, what? I am a different customer. And then people in Discord were like, not via your IP address. And I was like, what is this, like 1952? I'm my own person. Just because I am my own person who lives in this apartment, who wants my Nintendo Switch. I'm like, he doesn't even want a Switch. He has 2 Switches. I don't have any Switches. Anyway, And then we also did. I was like, hey, would it be wild if we went to GameStop, because I don't really trust this Walmart pre-order and I don't really want it from Walmart, or like, do you not want to go? You don't got to go with me. I can go on my own. I can just like Uber there. You don't have to be involved in this excursion. He was like, yeah, let's go. And I was like, what time do you think we should get there? The GameStop, it's important to note that the GameStop pre-order system, they had online at, I think, 10 ET or 11 ET.
11,
it was
11
like,
Eastern, yeah.
There was like a set time for online at GameStop. But in-store was just based on when your store opened. Like, at store opening, you could come in and pre-order. My GameStop doesn't open till 11 a.m. because it is in LA. And LA, people don't really open in their stores early. Like, it's a sleeping kind of city. But I was like, what time do you think we need to be there? And it's not that far from me. It's like my local
How early
one.
was this where you're having this discussion?
It was like the night before.
The night before.
Like, we finished, like, we like had the two Walmarts.
10:15
We don't trust
a.m.
them.
Should we go over now? 10:45, 10:50.
There were people who were like should I walk over to mine now and try? Like, it's about to open 10. I'm like, I don't know, maybe. And the GameStop also has like a piece of paper that says how many they have. I didn't know what that paper said because I didn't drive by my GameStop the night before, and I tried calling, but of course they didn't answer because they probably have like a million calls, and they're like, let's just give up, which that's kind of fair. I've worked at GameStop before, and one time we just unplugged the phone, and there wasn't even anything really happening. We were just tired, so I understand. I get it. And I was like, what time do you think we need to be there for an 11 a.m. open? And we're like, okay, we have to just be a little crazier than like the craziest person. Am I actually the craziest person in LA? Who's the craziest person in the Valley? And we're kind of weighing that out. And then we're like, well, there's definitely some people there that are just camping overnight. And I'm like, well, I'm never going to beat that because I'm not going to do that. And we determined that we needed to wake up, I think, at like 6 a.m., like wake up, and then just leave like semi-ASAP. Like, you don't have to run out the door, but like, don't dawdle, you know? So
You can also scope the line at that point. If it turns out,
Yes.
it's real, there's not that many people, go to a coffee shop, come back a little later.
I was going to do that. Once I was in line, I was going to be in line. But,
Well,
but
what-
I'm like,
what-
we
if
pull
you
up. If
go
it's
with two
full,
people,
we go to
one
sleep.
person, yeah.
I feel like that's such a, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, well, let's just be in line. It's not that deep. We can stand in a line.
Sure,
it's not that deep.
sure.
But on the off chance it was like super packed, it's like, oh, well, maybe we just go home. We like look at it and then we go back to sleep. So it's like, okay, whatever. We get there at 6:47 a.m. and we are, I think, I have the data because I live posted about it. It's like, I think we were 39th and 40th in line, or 29th. We were like in the 30s, I think, for in line. And granted, not all those people might be pre-ordering because there was like, like the one like couple had like their kids there, and it's like, their kids can't pre-order a console. Like, they're probably not. I think you need to be like 10 or something to have a GameStop account. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter because we were in a good spot. Because I think my GameStop had, off the top of my head, without re-looking at the paper, like, I don't know, 50 to 60 bundles and like 30 singles or something like that. So we were pretty like secure at that point, and we're like, cool. And now we wait. And I packed my bag the night before, so I had, like 3 consoles to neglect. I had like my GBA, my PSP, my phone.
Oh my God.
I was out here ready. I started Joan d'Arc on PSP, and I said, game seems pretty cool. I don't know. I think Sarah Pazorski's onto something. And yeah, we just hung out there. I went into I dipped into Starbucks. I didn't get anything because I'm also not buying anything at Starbucks right now. Everything's boycotted basically in this plaza in the Valley. But I had a meeting to take, so I just took it on like the patio or whatever.
I love
I'm like,
this
they're not gonna say
crypto
anything to me.
GameStop. They seem really cool.
Look. Is the owner of GameStop also a Trumpy? Yes. But is it coming down to policy? Not yet. Not yet. And I gotta be honest, when I'm getting a
GameStop
physical
is still
game, that's
pro gamer, and you know what?
Look,
What we hear at Remap love is being pro gamer. We love the gamers.
look.
Live, love, game.
People
it's on
will.
the website.
They'll be
Power
mad.
to
They'll
the
say,
gamers, right? That's
I
how it
hate
gamers.
I hate how they ran Game Informer. I don't like the Power Up Pro. I don't want to pay for the insurance on my disc. No one's ever snapped a disc in half in all of time. I hate that it's full of Funko. Whatever. When I'm getting a physical game and I try to buy that anywhere else, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's hard to, like, have you shopped anywhere else? It's, like, kind of annoying and difficult. And everyone's like, oh, well, sometimes there's, like, a really long line. Whatever. I'm pulling up at GameStop until they tear that son of a bitch down, okay? That's my
It
truth.
could be any
Could
day
be
now,
soon.
but you
It
just
could be any day now.
Yeah,
It
it's
literally
gonna
could-
happen.
just gotta
make
It's
the
gonna
June
5th.
happen.
Also, too, the other thing that I also wanted with the GameStop pre-order, which Best Buy would have also had if they figured out how to make their website, is the midnight release. GameStop was doing a midnight release, so was Best Buy. I don't want this thing shipped to my house. I want to walk up and you hand it to me, and I think about, could someone rob me before I get to my car? That's the only fear that I want in my mind.
Yes.
And also, bonus, again, West Coast privilege, we're getting that midnight, not midnight, 9 p.m., because it's midnight East Coast. So I'm like, 9 p.m.? Yo, I'm going live. Come through because I'm unboxing that thing. We're downloading together. It's gonna be
I'm gonna have
a hell of
mine.
a time.
Throw it in my car. Go to bed. I'll see you at. I'll see you in the morning at 10 a.m.
Exactly. No, it's like the vibe. You know, like it's fun. I like doing that. I've done that for like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. It's a fun time. God forbid a bitch wants some community. Okay, sorry, I don't want Walmart shipping something to my house. I don't mind standing in line with the people, okay?
The people.
Yes.
Is it like an open? Is it open to the air or is it inside a mall situation?
It's open air.
Yeah.
The line. It's like in a plaza. Yeah, and the rest of standard procedure. Like 30 minutes before they opened, they gave like a little ticketing system with like the SKUs that just said what you had. I will say it took forever though to get in. Like doors opened at 11, and I didn't get my like pre-order until like 12, and I'm like, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but. What's taking so long? Let's speed this up, baby. And obviously it is a bit of the, well, do you want like this thing? Do you want, again, do you want your pro membership? Do you want, what? I'm not going to lie. I did get the pro membership. I'm going to be buying some physical games this year. I want some discounts. It just, I'm like, whatever. I save like, $5 off something every so often. I pre-ordered Donkey Kong Bonanza. I pre-ordered an SD card. I was going to pre-order the store if they let me. And then I was just like, oh, don't tell me about I don't want the insurance. I want Bonanza. I was like, all business. I forgot to get a case. That's the only thing I flubbed. I got that online after the fact. But yeah, like, give it to me. Give me everything you have. I already know. I might as well have pre-ordered Metroid. I'm getting that too. It's like, whatever. Even though how physical will it be even? Maybe I'll end up zagging to digital with how things are going. So
yeah, Best Buy completely died for me as well, like website and app, and also similarly our house doing our best to like avoid shopping at Target. So my thought was like Walmart, like the way Walmart system worked was like you went into a queue. Now is this queue lying to me? I don't know, but at least they're politely lying to me if they are lying. It was sort of like if you bought concert tickets before, right? It's like you go to a Ticketmaster. You're there at the time the tickets start. Yes. Like, I mean, when I did the 9 Inch Nails one live on this podcast while we were recording some months back, it was like 18,000 back in that one. That one was wild. This one, they gave you a timer. It was like you have 18 minutes, and then this website is going to refresh over to something else. So I took a gamble. I let it have a countdown timer for both the Mario Kart bundle and the solo, but I was worried, like, did I just make like a real miscalculation where like when it spins over, it's going to say one per customer and like the website will just crash out and I'll get kicked out of both. Fortunately, it didn't. It let me put both in my cart and it's just like only let me check out with one. So I only
say I get both. What's going on back there?
So I checked out with just the Switch 2 because my kids. I know that's going to be a game that my kids play, and I'm not getting Switch 2s for my kids, but they like the cart for like Mario Kart. And so eventually if they do get a Switch 2, I want that to be a physical, and the bundle is a digital copy of Mario Kart, not a physical copy of Mario Kart. There are certain parts of the world where like, I think legally they have to provide a physical copy of the game. So some of the bundles internationally come with a physical copy, but not in the United States anyway. So I got that one through Best Buy. That one I could pick up at midnight, not too far from me. And then the other one at Walmart, I think they guarantee by 9 a.m. like the next day, like it's going to be on launch day. It'll be delivered. So between the two of those, I should end up with one. And then as long as this is going to be a like how do you might this might be a PlayStation 5 situation for you.
Oh
which
yeah.
is
I'm
not going to cancel either pre-order because my thought was. Maybe I'm lucky enough to like get one through Nintendo, but I always pre-order in the event that doesn't happen. You never know that until much closer to release. With the PlayStation 5, I remember being on the call with Sony, and they're like, with the PR rep we had, it was like one of their first meetings. They were kind of excited. It was the first time they were talking about the PlayStation 5 and the launch rollout. for reviewers, and like, we're sending you 3. I'm like, you're sending us like 3? I'm like, okay.
Is
And
that
I
allowed?
forgot, I neglected to cancel my pre-orders in that situation, and then gave one to Austin and gave one to you, I believe. So here, if the pre-order that shows up, where I can go pick up at Best Buy, Kato, when that
Ooh.
Walmart one shows up at 9 a.m., at 10 a.m. I'll be at the UPS store shipping it
Amazing.
to you, if that's what
Holy
if that's what
shit,
you want.
yeah.
So
No, that'd be
So
great. I mean, especially
luxurious.
if my invite link from Nintendo, which I went the Nintendo route just because I thought I hit all the requirements. I'm sure this will be the most secure option, right? They're just gonna
Probably.
send me a link, right? I don't have to be in a line somewhere.
I think if you get it, you're probably right.
But
Yeah.
do I get it at this point? Will I get it in after the launch? So yeah, we'll see if I get an email early enough. Maybe
If
that's
not,
when
what was the Pokemon Unite for? You're honestly the most
Right.
deserving. Let's be honest.
Yeah, truly.
My Nintendo Switch is sitting in an unplugged dock, dead. I have to every now and then I bring it out. Like I'm.
Unplugged.
It's like it's like the Nintendo Switch in the modern era has lived like 72 hours of a life in 2025. It's like every now and then I'll like plug it in to resurrect it because I have to stream
Yeah.
something hyper specific. But other than that,
Well, the Steam Deck killed it for
she's
me, right?
just she's just stuck there in
Nintendo's
limbo.
first-party output in recent years has been very much, we'll see
Yeah.
you at Switch 2, unless you would like this HD remaster. And so, yeah, I'm so, like, my Switch, I don't think I've meaningfully turned it on, except like on a flight or something to like give it to one of my kids if one of their Switches died or something like that.
It is slightly lighter of a carry if you have the option between the two, but like the Steam Deck is going to play more things anyways.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like,
In terms of the physical stuff that we alluded to before, yes. So one of the things that has been noted is that for a wide variety of games that are going to be available at the Switch 2 launch, Games Industry Biz notes that in Japan, for example, quote, almost every third-party game announced thus far is launching as a game key card. A game key card is a situation where you get a physical cart, but there is no data on it. It is basically just unlocking the ability to download the game. So you have purchased a box. It may have a manual. There'll be a cart inside. You can put it on a shelf. But if you were to, say, hand it to a friend, they would still have to connect to the internet in order to download that game. Probably one of the most bizarre instances of this playing out is there is a remastered version of the Atlas game Raidu, I believe. Raidu, The Mystery of the Soulless Army. There is a collector's edition that is coming from the company Limited Run Games. And Limited Run Games' whole thing is physical. And the collector's edition that they are making in partnership with Atlas and Sega is a $250 version of this remastered game with a game key card version of the game, where you are getting a physical cart with a digital download. The reasons for this aren't really clear. There has been speculation that the manufacturing costs of the Switch 2 cards are such that a lot of publishers are just deciding enough consumers are fine with the game key card system. How often are they around a Switch that is not connected to the internet? They can figure it out. But in terms of the long-term trajectory of physical, certainly this feels like another ratcheting up of, like, let's find out how much people are willing to just buy a box as opposed to having the data on a cart or a disc. And I wonder, Janet, as somebody that I don't value physical all that much, at least when it comes to video games, I'm much more of a movie person with physical. Does that move the needle for you at all on, your pro subscription at GameStop? That in theory is part of the reason you get that is to bring down the cost of, you might get a game. I'm figuring what happens for you, at least some of the time, is you might get a copy of a game to cover, for Remap or MinMax or whatever, but that's always going to be digital. And if you love that game and want it out on your shelf, you're going to seek out a physical copy. But I wonder if it's a game key card, does that lower your desire to actually jump through that hoop and pay that money?
Well, a couple things to add play and then also to clarify. I with the exception of I think one game, that game being Control, for which I got the like somewhat special. Did you like the freaking what are those the steelbook case for Control? I really love that game. I had a code for it on PC, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy it again on Xbox. That is the only game that I've double dipped on. I do not double dip on purchasing. The reason that I do buy physical when I do buy a game, which like happens from time to time, but not that often, with the exception of Nintendo games. Nintendo, I cover your games. If you're listening, send me a code for any of your games. I am one of the few people that plays platformers. Me and Patrick are half the people that play platformers.
We're out here.
Yeah, the few, the proud. There we go. But yeah, Nintendo has literally, I've never gotten a code for a Nintendo game outside of like when I worked at IGN, which was like, even that was guide work, so it's like, you know, but hey,
and that's someone handing
Luigi's
you the
Mansion
code.
still plays. Yeah, Luigi's Mansion plays just fine, whether or not they know I'm playing it or not. You know, I'm gonna take it. But yeah, so like literally, yeah, that's just and Nintendo is kind of notoriously very withholding with like giving keys. Yeah. Like I think if you listen to, you know, anywhere besides here or just like additional sources, you'll hear people talk about like there's a reason that like, you know, not to like throw them under the bus, but like kind of funny. Like I think they get like, you know, 1 or 2 like from Nintendo. There's a reason that when they do a review, there's only like one person that plays it.
Tiers without.
Yes.
So like one of the, you know, obviously most famous notable pieces of criticism that Waypoint ever published was Austin Walker's Breath of the Wild review. Awesome piece of criticism. And at that time, and for many years, we got stuff early from Nintendo. And it's like, and they're actually pretty generous about like with a Breath of the Wild style game, like you might get that like 3 weeks in advance. Like they're very generous. Like their games are often done well in advance of release, and so if you're on that tier of access, like they're pretty good. And then remember when Tears of the Kingdom was coming out, and I was actually stressed about that game coming out because I was like Austin had stepped back at that point, wasn't doing as much writing. If we were gonna publish something about it, like it would sort of fall to me to do that. And I'm like, I don't want to follow up Austin's like Breath of the Wild review with 800 words about Tears of the Kingdom. And so I checked in with Nintendo to ask where, you know, is there any chance you can give me just like a vague sense of when that might show up? And like, oh, yeah, you're on the launch list now. And I was like, for everything? They're like, yeah, for everything. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, oh, you just get games the day they come out, like in the early afternoon. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, well. Good to know. And then by the time Tears of the Kingdom came out, Vice was laying us off. And so I just said, well, just not going to really engage with that game or worry about writing about it. And we'll just move on with our lives.
Yeah, I think I'm on the like, wait, Garcia? Back up the Who? Who's this? Yeah, the fan line is there, honey. I don't think you need to be over here. Like,
you need a link to the GameStop map?
Holy shit.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you can pre-order it. You can download it through the Nintendo eShop if you want. Thank you for playing our games. We love you. Bye. Anyway, but I mean, that just is what it is. Like, whatever. But for that reason, if I'm going to buy the game, I'm just going to buy it physical because why not? And another thing to note with what you shared here, the specific terminology of third party kind of implies that maybe first party will function differently. And most of the games that I do get are first party. Like I can get a third party game on Nintendo. Sometimes those are, you know, a little bit slower to roll too because they often were like higher in popularity or just kind of had different things on the back end. Like the fastest code to Inside Baseball, the fastest code to always get is PC because they're like the PC's ready now. And sometimes if you want console, regardless of if it's Nintendo, PS5, they'll say, oh, console will come a little bit later. Maybe that's later, like in the review period. Maybe that's at launch. So that's just something you decide as like a creator where you want to get your code from. But so yeah, I would still be buying these. And I'm curious, I don't know if any of you have the answer on this because I know I don't offhand. How different, if at all, is this from where discs already are? Because discs already don't have the game on them either. You have to download them. Like, they already are that. So is this just Nintendo finally moving to where the discs are?
So it's
I think...
I mean,
any of them not? For, like, this era. Like, I know back in the day, like, PS2, PS3, sure, but PS4 onward, can you play a disc and not be connected to the internet and play a game?
Yes, there are. I would say
without
the vast
having
majority
downloaded
of
it
games
before
will at least launch, but they'll be pulling day one patches. They'll be pulling updates, and I think from a preservation angle, the worry here is that like let's say like a game like Bloodborne, right? PS4 game hasn't been re-released anywhere. All its efforts to be like ported and brought elsewhere have become like part of the fan community. So essentially, Sony has like done like basically zero support, other than making it backwards compatible on PS5. And it's like if all that stuff was to disappear tomorrow, like you could buy a physical copy of Bloodborne, put it in, and like play one of the greatest games of all time. Like you're missing the patches. You can't get the old Hunters, although they probably press the old Hunters onto a collector's edition disc at some point. Regardless, like you could put in and play like an incredible video game by putting this disc in, no connectivity required. You're missing out on something. You're missing out on like the long tail of like updates and changes to a game. But you can't play multiplayer, but you can plug it in and you can play. I think the feeling is here is game key cards are like anti-preservation, like they're anti-game history. Like they are, when you buy one of these used at a GameStop, you know, this is not from what I understand, this isn't like sometimes when you buy like a Blu-ray, there's a code inside that you can redeem tied to your account. This isn't what's happening here. Like the cart is your key. Like that is functioning as the unlocking mechanism to download the game, which still allows you, I believe, to like resell and give it to other people. But if you're not, you know, if you brought your Switch 2 with an array of little carts and you bring it on the plane and decide, I want to play XYZ, if it's not preloaded, you're going to put that card in and it's going to do jack shit. And it does feel like on some level a betrayal of like how this has worked before, even if it is broadly in line with where a lot of people are these days, which is I'm usually at home, I'll download the game, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I think it kind of sucks. And the fact it is labeled on these games, like it's at the bottom, does like how much of the average consumer is going to know what a game key card is? Maybe they never notice because they just put it in their Switch 2, it downloads, they never think about it again. I don't know, but
I still do think that's like, and I'm trying to find like a better source that isn't just like people on Reddit or whatever. So I'm like looking around, like I'm pretty sure discs now are like they have. It's not just the patch; it's like in the install. Like I'm pretty sure that like you can't just run it. I wish I had a new game to put in to a console right now to test it. I think it is like an install unlock for PS4 and beyond. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Oh, Kato, just some investigative journalism. Boot this thing up now and tell me what. If you're
I was able to play this Death Stranding out of the case, but it's a PS4 game, so I don't know if there was like a line that was ever drawn. But I remember not having internet, putting this in, it installed, and then going.
Yeah, but it still has to install. That's the well, I guess without the internet,
I would
it's like
say
kind of same difference.
Without us having
Right.
like
It's on the disc though, right? That's the difference. But that was I don't know when did fucking Death Stranding come?
So wait, hang on. I'm just what Nintendo is selling with these. Is the analogy less it's a game and more they are selling like a keycard access fob?
yeah.
Yeah, basically. But the fact that you can still like, I mean, this is inherently like, in my opinion, bad because it's just another step towards like a more all digital future, which like I would prefer not to have, but I know is inevitable. But the fact that you can still
is like just pro. Like I will go to the physical GameStop and be among the people.
I know. Yeah, people are just like, I don't know, I just want to download it. And also, like, because, again, as physical has continued to shift into being more downloady, it's not really, like, saving space the way it used to. Like, back in the day, they used to actually save you space on, like, your system. And same with, like, the Nintendo Switch, where it's like, oh, you don't really need, like, a big, you know, memory card maybe because if you're doing physical and you only buy like a couple digital games, like you're not really taking as much space. So there's like other practical reasons that I think people like physical, even in that regard. But as that has continued to not matter as much, and I think this digital keycard download element is another example of it. It's like, well, what is the benefit? And like the benefits are like then inherently getting diminished, which makes I think a lot of people. That's why a lot of people have moved to I think all digital because they're like, well, it's only inconvenient to have the physical. Not to mention, you know, in the case of PlayStation, like the digital version of the console was also cheaper. So it's like, yeah, like I don't need the disc drive. I don't need physical. I'll just go all digital already, which I'm sure PlayStation was very excited about because they're like, great, that's where we're moving anyway. So the fact that half of you are already with us, that means the other half will be annoyed for a day and then who cares? Yeah, I would still get the physical because you can hand it over. And even though they do have to still download it, it's still like hand-offable, and I like that element of it. Because frankly, some of the games I get, I don't end up liking them, and I want to get rid of them. And it's nice to be able to do that, and you can't do that with digital outside of Steam having a refund policy. Like, there's not refunding policies on any of the major platforms. So I would still get it. Like, I have it more from to me, it's not so much as the collector in me, it's the practical element of it. Of like, yeah, I can have it, I can hand it off, I can sell it, I can have like just a little bit more options. Than with digital, I can't really do any of that, and I'm just kind of locked in. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to pay it for myself and it's going to be 60, in some cases here, I don't know, 70, 80 bucks, I want to be able to, when it's all said and done, if I don't want this, I can like hand it off or sell it or whatever, which I found out my local regular retro store takes new games as well. So probably just give them away there because I think it's going to be the same price, if not better. And then that kind of helps their stock or whatever. But yeah, like the truth is, I bought Princess Peach Showtime to cover it, and I thought that game sucked, and I wanted to get rid of it, and I liked being able to get rid of it because someone else could enjoy the game that I didn't like, and that's nice. So yeah, I would still do it, but I'm also not excited to hear the news, obviously. And I think in third party, I'm probably getting digital already anyway because of work. So
to clarify, I looked up. So it is game by game on whether the full game is on the disc. There are many, many games in which what is happening is an install from the disc, because in order to take advantage of the fast SSDs on the PS5, the Blu-ray drive is just not going to be fast enough to like read the data and then like handle that. So what's happening a lot of the time when you put in the disc is that there is a not insignificant wait period in order to copy the data from the Blu-ray to the machine. And so that functions as a sort of like download, but the data is being brought off of the Blu-ray onto the PS5. That is not every game. There are games, like some people pointed out, where you will get a certain amount into the game and then it says the rest must be downloaded. These are instances where a game may not fit all on a single Blu-ray, and so rather than producing 2 Blu-rays in the box, they make everything else a download. So it is not a one-size-fits-all. You sort of have to look up, if I'm buying a disc, am I buying something where my prepper mentality is allowing me to just put it in, have the data copy, and start playing? Your mileage may vary on that. So it seems like a lot of games work that way, but a not insignificant number of them are going to require you might be able to play a portion of the game, and then at some point it's going to ask you to download the rest.
Okay, that makes sense.
Came on like when games could come on up to as much as like 6 discs.
Hell yeah.
Those were the fucking days.
Dude,
I think the PC version of Final
I was
Fantasy
going to say,
was
PlayStation
like
players like,
Yeah.
multiple Final Fantasy discs. That's nothing. When you played those FMV video games, like,
oh my god,
that would have 6, 7 discs, like I have a
the
collector's
ritual of
edition.
swapping a disc in the middle of a game is lost to the new generation.
Yeah.
It's a censoring.
I've
ritual,
never done
you
that.
know?
It
That's
felt
not even like an
standard.
age thing. I didn't play on PC, so it's like cartridge then disc that had all stuff on it.
At first, swapping discs did feel like you were sticking your hand into a running car engine.
Yes. It was terrifying.
Wait, the disc that
You had
makes
to
the
trust
game
it.
go
It
is
made
now
you trust
popping out
the
of the
machine.
computer?
Wing Commander 4 Price of Freedom had 6 CDs.
Amazing.
Phantasmagoria had 7 CDs.
Why did Final Fantasy have so many CDs on the PC? board?
EverQuest 2, 9 game discs, 1 bonus disc. Incredible.
Also,
Discworld-
tangentially related, we
Discworld
need to
had
talk
16
about
floppy disks.
how ugly them Switch 2 cases are. Oh my god,
bad.
they're
It's
so
bad.
ugly.
It's
They're like
bad.
the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I know the haters are gonna say, "Oh, you're gonna get used to it. One day you'll look at this with a fond eye once you get used to it." These look like janky, not for resale ad cases that you see at a store. Like, they are bizarre. And this is more of a joke, but I saw someone say, do you think they made the Switch 2 cases ugly to like wean us off a physical? Are they like kind of being like, oh, you want this physical case? Well, what if it was really ugly? It's so ugly. I mean, I mostly pop out the cartridges and put them in one of those little like cart holders anyway. So like, you know, we'll have to just hide these in one of the storage bins because they're so ugly.
It's a lot of
But
red.
yeah, I'll get my real or fake physical Donkey Kong Bonanza and report back. I know what's going on. Or they give it to me early and I cancel my pre-order, which I'm guessing I will have my fake Donkey Kong Bonanza to show y'all. But yeah, you know, right, the first party output is here for a little bit. So I'm like, okay, well that means I'll probably be, you know, going and buying some games. So I'll report from the streets what the people are feeling.